I think we're ready to hit the
Yes.
get the show on the road here. Um, do we start with wins? Is that still a thing?
That's the
All right.
plan.
All right. Well, let's hear it, everybody.
I,
Wins.
I
Big.
haven't won.
Oh, Shay Toya, I wanted to do my intro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Big or small wins? Let's hear it. Shay Toya, I'll let you take it off.
All right, I had to. I don't. It's probably not like a big win, but I feel like having like we've been talking about having like tough conversations. I had to fire my first employee, and most people would say that's a bad thing, but just being able to
I
have
say it's
that
a
tough
good thing.
conversation. So yeah, I had to do it, and it wasn't a conversation I wanted to have, but I got uncomfortable and did it.
Wow. That's huge. For those of the who weren't there like last time we talked about that, just put some context. Sometimes it's easy. It's always easy to avoid the difficult conversation and let problem employees linger and let situations get unaddressed. It's easy to avoid that and just kind of let things just get worse without even realizing it. So huge win. You had the conversation you had to have. So um, other wins, anybody else who small wins, business wins, personal wins, anything else going in your family family? Sorry, my mind. Um, anything else going on?
Sure, we're up to $33,000 in jobs, less about 7 weeks, 7 weeks. So we sold 6 jobs through the digital media. So I'm pleased with that,
Wow.
and I know it takes time, but it's definitely building. And we got about 6 jobs in for painting and rain gutters. So good news, and working with Mr. Travis. So we're learning, and we still got more to go, in my opinion. So you guys have done a good job.
Come on, Rob, way to go. I was gonna
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you,
no,
guys.
that's good. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. I'm still waiting for the pizza chain that you're gonna open one day. Because with a name like that, you've got to have one eventually.
I will tell you, I've opened a ton of restaurants. I own 3. I had to.
What?
Oh yeah, I own a ton of restaurants. I own not a ton, 3. I had 6. Restaurant business is tough, man. Anybody, trust me, it's tough business. I would not do it again if I had to do it over. But yeah, no, I've had a ton of experience in restaurants.
That makes me
Ton.
so happy. I love that I said that.
Yeah, no, I got a ton. So thank you. But yeah, it's. I can tell you I could tell you a lot of stories.
Well, when we have restaurant stories, we'll definitely
Yeah.
sign you up. Anybody else? Final wins, small wins, big wins, just updates. I don't know what updates are, but just anything else.
Yeah, I got one. If I could jump in.
Absolutely, Greg.
Whilst we only just started this week with Redmond Growth, encouraging to talk about reviews and a client that we just started winning, and it's a major project for us. And he went online this week and just 2 days ago and wrote we're the best contractor they've ever used
Wow.
out of managing all their facilities. So you can, and it didn't get us excited, but it got all my employees excited that were working on the job. So yeah, that was a great win.
That's huge. That's great to hear. You'd be. I find the pattern a lot. You'd be shocked sometimes. Just the good things that people have to say but haven't said. It's like people like to hold back on those things sometimes. And sometimes when we get review campaigns going, it's like, do they really think that of me? I'm like, wow, this is, in some ways it's nice to hear every once in a while. So let that be a lesson for all of us. If we have good things to say to people, just say it today. You may not have a chance. That was really deep. So um yeah, no, thanks for sharing that, Greg. That's great. I really yeah, I see that now. I'm looking at it right now from Kevin. Best contractor we've ever used. That's incredible. Well, Travis, unless someone interrupts and wants to squeeze in a win, I think it's we're good to let you steal the show.
Beautiful. Well, share my screen here and see if there's any last second wins that come in. So, okay. So I got it pulled up here. Today, plan is to talk about 5 ways that you can build and wield your reputation. Really, everybody on this call has gotten to where they're at to this point because you do great work, right? And so the purpose of our talk today is just cover some of the key points that is going to help you further build upon that reputation that you've already earned, and really how to properly wield your reputation to increase your company's sales and profits. So go ahead and jump in here. Oh, I skipped through some. So building your reputation and wielding your reputation. That's what the call is all about today. And so for starters, I want to introduce a quote from Elon Musk. And that is, brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. What this means is that a brand is not just about your logo, slogans or other marketing efforts. It's about how people perceive a company based on their actions, based on their products and behavior. And if a company consistently delivers on its promises, it provides high quality products or services, and acts ethically, the perception of the brand will eventually reflect these positive aspects. Now, I also love how this quote ties into a personal favorite of mine that comes from Kate Zabrinsky, who's a renowned business trainer and the president of the company Business Training Works. Kate says that the customer's perception is your reality. These quotes pair really nicely together because a lot of times, again, when we think of branding, we think of those logos, we think of the colors and marketing and the catchy phrases that go into it all. One thing we often miss, yeah, it's a great one. But one thing that we often miss, whenever it comes to branding is, just how our perception or how our reputation plays a big part in your branding. You could probably even make the case that the quality of the products and the level of service that you provide around it have just as much to do with the brand as those other aspects, right? And so a company that has really nailed it, they've kind of mastered at this point, is Apple. They've earned a really strong positive brand perception due to its high quality products, good customer service, and cutting edge technology, right? And so they've really built a reputation for crafting and offering high quality products that its customers have found to trust and value. This has created a strong customer base, as well as a real sense of loyalty and appreciation from them. And not to be controversial here, but I know for me and a lot of other people, seeing those green text bubbles from an Android just kind of makes me go, ugh.
Ew, gross. Get it
I'm
out
an
of here.
Apple fanboy. Yeah. And so, but they've done that.
I've been excluded from many group texts because of this exact reason. Even with my girlfriend and her brothers, they're so frustrating.
And you should be. They should put me on that group chat because we have a blue bubble here.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Just shun the green text bubble that comes from those Androids. So, but they've done that by creating a great brand and creating that loyalty. And additionally, they've created user-friendly products, that have been met with a lot of respect and admiration from their customers. And they really make their products simple and easy. So again, they make it simple and easy. That's why they're so adored. And it's easy to get them to do what you want them to do. In addition to this, Apple's also created a perception of innovation. So I say perception of innovation because even a lot of times, these innovations may not be actually entirely new. Really, it's through Apple's brilliant marketing and branding that they've led customers to view their products as cutting edge and modern. So as a result of that, Apple has become the leader in the field of customer satisfaction. You know, nobody does it better than them, and in creating that loyalty. The result of this, they're now the largest technology company by revenue in the world. They did $395 billion in 2022. And they're also, as of March of this year, the world's biggest company by market capitalization, just meaning that Apple's overall value in the stock market is higher than that of any other company. So I want to get into 5 ways that we, as service and construction-based businesses, can build and wield our reputation to increase sales and profits. So principle number 1, to your customers, your employees are your business. So what I mean by that is when most people think of your business, they oftentimes think of the face or the faces that they interacted with, or the voice of the person they spoke to over the phone. Okay. When I think of this topic, my mind instantly went to Chick-fil-A. This is a company that, at least here in Oklahoma, is just absolutely widely adored. The more
Everywhere.
fascinating everywhere. Okay. So good. We got some confirmation here. So everywhere, it's just widely adored. And the most impressive part about it is a lot of times when I hear people talk about Chick-fil-A, I rarely hear them mention the food, right? What gets brought up are the employees and how great they are. It brings to mind, I saw a video that maybe a couple years ago that went viral because a Chick-fil-A employee literally chased down a car because somebody had left their fries. You know, literally ran down a car. Hey, ma'am, sorry, you forgot your fries. And that's why Chick-fil-A's employees are so well thought of. And so just kind of goes to show you that your employees can have possibly the single biggest impact on your client's experience when working with your company, for better or for worse. Okay. And so how do you make sure that your customers love your employees like that? Well, for starters, you know, make sure they present well, clean cut. They have logo branded gear or uniforms, and the criminally underrated smile. I know that sounds really simple, you know, and maybe cliche, corny, but smiling is important enough that the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, which has sold over 15 million copies, has an entire section devoted to it. My favorite line from that section is, actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, I like you, you make me happy, I'm glad to see you. That's why dogs make such a hit. They are so glad to see us that they almost jump out of their skins. So naturally, we are glad to see them. All that from a smile.
Just to add to that, I can't stress enough, and I think I'm particularly more maybe picky with customer service. You know, I cut him some grace for sure, but I just can't tell you. I have a short fuse for people who just don't try. You know, when you even at a drive-through, I'm not expecting you to, you know, tell me a joke or, you know, or even say my pleasure at the end of every sentence, because even that can be a little robotic sometimes. But at the very least, just have a smile. You know, one of my pet peeves at a drive-through is instead of saying hi, they just say 1041. They just tell you the price when you drive up to the window. Like they don't even say hi or smile. No, but that it's an instant turn off, and that applies. I know I'm talking about restaurants here, or should I tell you, or asking for a tip. Yeah, love it. You know, I know we're talking about restaurants here, but this 100% applies to your business, your contracting business, every interaction you have. Customers, if there's a way to misinterpret your facial expressions, they will do so. I won't steal the show though, Travis. That's good stuff. Oh, you're muted, so maybe I'll steal the show.
The show is yours. Yeah, I mean that's a good point though. a lot of times restaurants and some businesses like that, they grasp these concepts because, like Rob said, it's tough business. They've got to pay attention to these things. Most contractors don't. That's why if you do it, you're going to stand out, right? Um, but when you start to view back to the reference from How to Win Friends, when you start to view a smile as holding as much power as a dog that's excited to see you, you start to view it a little bit differently. You know, everybody loves that feeling. That's why dog is man's best friend, right? And so uh, maybe it's worth a little bit more intentionality to make sure that we're smiling when we're interacting with our customers, that our employees smile when they interact with their customers. It always makes everything come across just better, whether it's good news or bad news. And so um, when you're in front of customers, you've got to make sure that your customer or your employees also have really great energy when interacting with them. When you're in front of your customers, it's showtime. And when I say great energy, what I don't mean is that they have to act like they just drank 10 Red Bulls and they're bouncing off the walls. Okay, that's a common misperception whenever people say, "Hey, I need you to raise your energy level," right? But just let people know that you're excited about their project by speaking with passion to them, using inflection, and being conscious about your tone. And when you have A players, you have people that genuinely care about your customers, they genuinely care about the company. When you have an employee that cares about those two things, they're always going to do everything that they can to make it, a great experience. And so, lastly, here, keep in mind that your employees represent your companies at all time. And as we established, to your customers, your employees are your business. So if they're out in your uniform or gear, being a jerk to people at Subway at lunch, or driving your vans, like they just stole it, people are going to associate that behavior with your brand. So just making sure that we hire people of good character for many different reasons, this being one of them, is just so important. When people see your customers, they see your brand. That's how they view your brand. So principle number 2, it's all in the details. This is extremely important because customers largely distrust contractors by default. Remodelers, plumbers, electricians, home builders, doesn't matter. Whether it's due to past experiences, lack of knowledge, miscommunications, whatever the reason may be. And so that's why it's so important to build credibility and trust at every opportunity with your clients. A great way to do that, literally, and that literally everybody is capable of doing, is just making sure that, appointments are scheduled in a calendar, that you're sending out appointment confirmations and appointment reminders. Also, sending out those confirmation emails and texts. Not only does that lock in the appointment, but it builds a lot of value to your customers. And more importantly, it increases your value above your competitors because, again, they aren't doing these things. And so it'll also make people kind of stop and think, oh, wow, these guys are really organized and they've really got their stuff together. Okay. And so following up with clients when you say that you will, easy and simple enough. Arriving at appointments on time, maybe that's easier said than done, but these are really simple actions, and it's maybe 2 of the most common complaints people have with contractors and service businesses. I can't get a hold of them, and they aren't here when they said they would be. If you build a reputation for checking those 2 boxes, people are going to take notice and value that. Another one that really instantly sets you apart is answering the phone when they call. I think several weeks ago when we had Roger with Roger's Plumbing on, he mentioned that the phone has to be answered on the second ring in their office. And if not, people are jumping over desks and pushing people down and out of the way to get to the phone, you know. And so the reason why is it's just so important to answer the phone when people are trying to get a hold of you, trying to say, hey, I want you to do work for me. Okay. And you do get bonus points if you use a script for that call as well. So now the next thing is, lastly, we have well-branded documents. Okay. There's a lot of things that could fall into this category that you could use. But I know that our favorite tool here at Revenue Growth is the one sheet. So for those of you that don't know what a one sheet is, it's a single page document, front and back, that contains your social proof, a comparison chart displaying your unique value proposition. It'll have your no-brainer offer, and customer reviews. And so if you don't have a one sheet, or if you don't know what that is, your coach can help you create one so you can start using those branded documents that are just, again, going to build a little bit more credibility to your customers. Okay, so going on to principle number 3, and that is every customer interaction garners a positive or a negative reaction. So this is actually something that I had a mentor tell me one time, and he just said, every customer interaction garners a positive or negative reaction. And that what this means is that after interacting with you, every customer either feels better or they feel worse about working with you moving forward. And at the very least, a neutral reaction is simply a missed opportunity. So what are some surefire ways to make sure that your customers are leaving every interaction with a positive reaction? Well, one is, again, bringing great energy, which I discussed when we covered principle 1. So I don't want to spend too much time there. But I want to go more into the concept of showtime. Okay. So what this means is that you're focused, you're ready to put your full attention on what's in front of you, and you're ready to bring your very best effort and leave the person in the next interaction filled with joy and enthusiasm. So this is something that has to be true even on our bad days. Customers typically aren't super worried about the argument that you had with your spouse that morning, or the employee that keeps calling in, every day. They care about the leaky sink that they called you for. They care about that kitchen remodel that they've been thinking about for 2 years and are excited to get started on. So when it's showtime, we have to have a smile on our face and be ready to fill that person with joy and enthusiasm as much as possible about their project. Now, another way that you can ensure that you're garnering positive reaction from your customers is to find and focus what's most important to them. If they aren't worried about price, don't spend 30 minutes on how affordable you are. Ask questions to discover what's most important to them and focus on how your company can help them with that. Additionally, it's important to build rapport by using, just context clues to just talk to them like a normal, regular person. People advertise what they want you to talk to them about with their bodies through the clothes that they wear, or their tattoos, So maybe wearing gears from a sports team can be a great way to strike up a conversation, or a T-shirt from a band or a TV show that they like. If they've got a really nice new expensive car in the driveway, I promise you they are literally itching for you to talk to them about it. They want to talk to you about it. Okay. And so picking up context clues to talk to them about the things that they want to discuss. And so just listen to what they have to say. Always ask more questions. And then when you're done interacting with your customers, sometimes a good question to ask yourself is whether you think that they left that interaction, positive or negative, right? So just a little bit of reflection. If you feel like it was a negative reaction or even a neutral reaction, start working through a way that you can really wow them and get that positive momentum or the positive emotional momentum back on track. Or maybe ways that you could better handle a similar situation in the future. So, okay. Oh. Principle number 4, that's branding and online reputation just has to be better than everybody else. Okay. I'm just going to say it again. It has to be better than everybody else. You're trying to stand out to clients before they ever get the chance to experience your services, before they ever get to experience how great of a job that you do. And so I think it's easy, especially if you've been able to grow your company thus far without having to really have much of any digital presence, to kind of confuse your, I guess, your real world reputation with your online reputation. And so what I mean by that is if you're a $10 million company and you've gotten there by word of mouth and referrals, you clearly have that 5-star reputation out in the real world. That's how you've gotten to where you're at. However, once you begin to market and grow your digital presence, you're essentially starting from a blank slate. People finding you online, they don't know about all the great things that you do or what all the people in your area are saying about you and your company. So how do you let people know that you know that have never heard of you, that you're the best at what you do? Well, the first thing is some of those traditional things we think about when we think of branding. Your logo and colors have to look professional, and they have to be consistent and highly visible. You don't want it to be something that's changing. They see you here, it's one thing, and they see over here, it's something completely different. Consistent and highly visible everywhere your business is represented. Your unique value proposition, it has to be something that's very clear to you. When I say unique value proposition, the simplest way to put it is just what is the reason why a customer should choose you versus the other companies that do the same thing. If this is something that you don't know what it is for you, it's something that we have to work to identify, and your coach can help you with it. So, okay, we've got colors and logo everywhere. Our unique value proposition is clearly defined. Now we need to start gathering online reviews. I'm going to go on a limb and say that anybody that's made it this far, you know, through their first meeting already knows that Google reviews are the best. And they know that Google reviews are so important. But also making sure that you have reviews on your Facebook page, as well as any third-party lead generators that you use to build the strength of your reputation on that platform. So if you're using a platform to generate leads, you need to get reviews there to build the strength, to build your presence on that platform. Really, anywhere somebody might look to see what your customers have to say about your company, that might find you and looking to see what quality of work you do, we need to gain those positive online reviews. Reason why: 81% of customers read reviews before purchasing a product or service, according to Adweek. Additionally, according to Forbes, 88% of people trust online reviews just as much as a personal referral. So almost all people look for reviews before making a purchase and decision. And even more people trust those reviews just as much as if Rudy were to say, hey, you got to check out Rob's restaurant. It's phenomenal. Okay. And so Google is king when it comes to these reviews, because nine times out of 10, or 9 out of 10 searches done across the entire world are done on Google. But again, just really anywhere people are going to find you and your business, you want those reviews. So now the next thing is your website. Having a well-designed website that incorporates your colors and logo, your colors and logo, your no-brainer offer, your unique value proposition and testimonials from clients, is really just a guaranteed way to make a really great first impression on people when they find you. Having a well-designed one is really going to lead a lot of legitimacy and credibility to your company, to, again, somebody that's finding you for the first time. So got the website. Now we need to focus on maybe I'm saving the best and most important for last here. But your Google business profile or your Google My Business listing. Once your listing is optimized and fully filled out, continue to strengthen this profile by gathering more reviews. I mean, Garden Divas here, they have 808 reviews. That is absolutely crazy. But
I mean, those aren't real, right?
Well, most of them are fake, but some of them are real. No, all real reviews, it's not something that happened overnight either. They got these reviews by consistently asking and by consistently doing a great job.
Hey, I will say, not to ruin the moment, but they did get like 100 reviews overnight when they first started with us, because they were obsessive. And that's the thing, never stop with the obsession. Maybe it was a week. They got it like 100 reviews in a week when they first started. That's huge. Way to go. I think they hold the record. So someone else can beat
pretty impressive. But that means that you can do it. It's been done before, so why not you, right? And so Bobby Blue, he's got another beautiful business listing here. He's got the reviews, he's got it fully filled out and optimized.
Bobby!
Yeah, is
Sorry.
Bobby here? Okay.
Bob's here.
Well, Bobby, you got a great business profile. And I also noticed that because your profile has gotten the attention, it's got the strength, everything's fully filled out. You're even outranking people in your area that have, more reviews than you do, because it looks like you consistently upload photos and keep your information up to date. So that's just a testament to the power of making sure that your business listing is fully optimized. And so once we have it fully optimized, how do we continue strengthening it? Well, continuing to get more reviews. The rule of thumb, how many reviews do I need? Rule of thumb is, twice as many as your closest or your leading competitor. The real answer is always just more. Once you've doubled your competitor, just keep going. You always just need more Google reviews. Okay. Uploading 30 to 40 photos a month and adding updated blog posts to it once a week is a great way to increase your ranking on Google, thus making that great reputation that you've earned much more visible. So, got one more principle to go through here. Principle number 5, you get what you pay for. Okay. Your customers know this, and they know that the lowest price isn't always the best value. In fact, your price can influence the perception of the quality of your work. So a higher price can actually be a green flag stating that you offer premium quality work, while a lower price can actually be a red flag signaling that the quality of work may be low. It could scare some people off. While both of those things might not actually be the case, remember, your customer's perception is your reality, right? So if they perceive like, oh man, this price is really low, what's going on here? What's the secret? Like, where's the boogeyman in this, right? And so another thing to keep in mind is this: sales is about sorting. Not all customers are price buyers, and not all customers are your customers. And that's okay, right? So now, that being said, a phrase that I see a lot is price is only an issue in the absence of value. That means that while your customers know that the lowest price isn't always the best value, it's often the only thing that's being given to differentiate companies. A good example of this is, comparing a Nissan Versa versus a Mercedes C300. Now, new Mercedes C300 get you from point A to point B about as efficiently as a new Nissan Versa. They both have 4-cylinder engines. They both have 4 wheels. They have windshield wipers, cruise control, Bluetooth, all of the features that you expect when you buy a new car. But the MSRP for a 2023 Mercedes C300, they start at $45,000 compared to the starting MSRP for a Versa at $16,000. So nearly 3 times as much money. Pretty wild. They're
Shoot,
both
I'll
still
take a
just cars.
Nissan.
I know, I'm talking myself into it as we speak. But the reason is simple. It's because the C300 will provide an overall better experience in getting from point A to point B than the Versa will. So if you're a company that provides that 5-star service, you've just got to be charging 5-star prices. You know, if you're the guy that lays in bed at night thinking about that spot that you're just a quarter of an inch off, your customers have to pay for that, because the other guys out there, they could care less. They're not thinking about it. That's what makes you the best at what you do. And so, you know, if you have any doubt about, you know, hey, am I Nissan Versa, am I a, you know, Mercedes, take a second and reflect. Ask yourself, you know, hey, if I spoke to the last 100 clients, what grade would they give the quality of work? You know, ask yourself that question. Be honest with yourself. Once you've answered that question, and sometimes if you're unsure, reference your reviews. Go back to what people have actually told you about your business. But once you've answered that question, make sure that your pricing just reflects that answer. If you're a 5-star company, charge 5-star company prices. Okay.
I do want to emphasize one thing on that. I think it was really like a gold nugget. Like I've even considered doing an entire group call on the one thing you said, which is if all you talk about is price, or you said something along those lines, if all you talk about is price, then that's what you make it about. And I hear over and over and over again, you know, just, and I get the feeling. It's frustrating to have to deal with people price shopping on the phone and hang up, and then they're like, all they want is price. Yeah, I get that, but have you given them a reason not to make it about price? Even if it's a 30-second interaction, what if all I know is one thing costs $30 and another thing costs $60, and that's all the only information I've given, why wouldn't you go for the $30? You haven't given me a reason not to. So everyone's default is always thinking about that as well. So, you know, and that's the customer's perception, and that's the reality. You know, that's what you're having to deal with. So even though we don't like that, we do have to stop them in their tracks sometimes and remind them why you're worth it, what the value is in there. You know, maybe we'll dive into that more sometime. But the main question is, have you given them a reason to make it about anything else other than price? That's the question.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, even the reason that they picked you out of the list of all the people in your area that are listed on Google is probably because of your good reputation, right? It's because you have 5 stars and more reviews than everybody else. That's why they called you. You know? And so again, just at the end of the day, the most important thing is just be confident in the value that you bring. Okay. You do a great job. You got to be compensated for it. So beyond that, just kind of quick recap, the five principles. So to your customers, your employees are your business. Okay. It's all in the details. It's the little things that matter that build a lot of value to your customers and really separate you from the others out there. Every customer interaction garners a positive or negative reaction. It's never neutral. And if it is neutral, that's a negative because you missed an opportunity to move that in the direction towards them, you know, viewing it in a positive light. So 4th, branding and online reputation. It has to be better than everybody else. That's the only way to do it. And then 5, you get what you pay for. You know, just your customers know, they already know that they expect to pay to get good service. They have to pay for it. So that being said, following these 5 principles, to probably increase and leverage your reputation are just surefire ways to generate more revenue and profits in your business. And so I'm going to let Bryce do his thing and split us up into some breakout rooms.